We get a lot of questions about cell phones in Mexico, so I am going to take the opportunity right now to address that topic. And I'm going to start out with the nitty gritty of what Dave and I do. How do we accomplish the cell phone thing here in Mexico? Um, this is our cell phone. It is a Mexican cell phone that we bought the third time that we went to Baja. We walked right into a Telcel store, which is one of the largest cellular, like whatever data, that kind of company in Mexico. And these Telcel stores are like everywhere. We have never had a problem finding a Telcel store. We just go to the town square and start like looking around, and usually there's one pretty close. And if you want to buy a Mexican cell phone, you can get one like this for about 40 bucks. And this is probably the cheapest one there is. It is very basic, but it is a smartphone. I find that I have to do things like remove certain apps. I can only keep a certain amount of stuff on here. I delete things immediately because this phone has very little memory, and it also is just not, the computing power of it is not very advanced. But you can get all of the super duper smartphones that your heart desires the same way that you would be able to in the United States. So you want an iPhone or whatever, you want to hand over the money for it, then you can get it. At that time that I bought this phone, I don't even think they asked me for any ID. I just gave them my information verbally. They hooked me up with a SIM card, which gave me the phone number, and the phone was active. I paid for the first month's service, and I was good to go. I don't know if your experience will be the same in every single Telcel store, because it seems like things vary sometimes in Mexico. So maybe they will ask you for identification stuff. I don't know. But at any rate, it was super easy for me to go in there and buy this phone. No problem whatsoever. And I completed the whole process in less than 30 minutes. This phone allows me to use it in Mexico and the United States and Canada, supposedly, although I've never tried it there, just like I would any cell phone. I can cruise the internet, I can make calls to Mexico, I can make calls to the United States, I can make calls to Canada. The only thing that is maybe an impediment with this way of doing it is that people in the United States who want to call me could be incurring like fees, as if, you know, they're calling an international number. It would depend probably on what their cell phone plan is ultimately, whether or not it's going to cost them. So for instance, I have people in my life who cannot call me on this phone without incurring charges. So I just call them, and I have other means of for people to get in touch with me where I am that are very reliable, and it's worked out fine. So, you know, if there's an emergency or they really need to get in touch with me, there's a way for them to do that without even having to call me on this phone, even though they could. It just would cost them some money. Anyway, however, Dave and I, we can call like I said, in the United States. We get back to the United States, this phone is still active, I can use it. And I can continue to buy my minutes for it, or I say minutes, but it's just a plan. It's called an unlimited plan. From the United States, I just go onto the Telcel website where I have an account, and that's how I usually pay monthly for my service. There are different plans. I'm going to put something up on the screen right now to show you that website and kind of explain what I'm showing you there. This is the Me Telcel website, and I am logged in. This is where I come to refresh my monthly plan. I pay using my credit card. So there's several different plans here. I'm on the Paquetes Amigo Sin Límite. Sin Límite, that means without limit. So these are unlimited plans. They have a variety of options. As little as 1 day you can pay for, and that costs you 20 pesos, which is about $1. The package that we get is this one. It's for 30 days. It costs 200 pesos, which is approximately 10 US dollars. For that, we get unlimited data for the social networks within Mexico, so you can get on those and use them as much as you want. We have unlimited phone calls. We have unlimited minutes in SMS, and that's for Mexico, US, and Canada. And then we have 3 gigabytes of data, which is more than enough for us. Also for Mexico, US, and Canada. There's this other thing down here that's something about some kind of music deal that I don't use, but that also is included. So that's it. And like I said, there are other options here. The biggest package listed on this page is this one for 30 days. And the only difference here is it includes 6 gigabytes of data. The price is 500 pesos, which is about 25 US dollars. So once you own the phone, you can come into this, anytime in Mexico or the United States and just buy the package you want for the month. Okay, so that kind of details you can see. I mean, it's very comparable to what you would deal with in the United States for dealing with your phone service, and if you're doing it especially on a monthly basis. So there's no contracts. I just pay for it as needed. When we're in Mexico, we use this phone to navigate. We use the Google Maps on it, and it has been very good. It has worked. We have had very few problems with being able to make calls. In Baja, there are places where your phone is just not going to work, okay? There's just no cell phone service because Baja is very remote in many aspects. But in mainland Mexico, we have never had a problem with this phone not working anywhere. It's got really good coverage. And yeah, it's really great that we can use it in the United States also. It costs so much less to have a cell phone in Mexico than it does to pay for a plan in the United States. I think that we are getting ripped off big time by these tech companies, which is why Dave and I don't have a cell phone when we're in the United States, sort of. But anyway, so yeah, Dave and I, we have a pay-as-you-go phone in the United States, and we only activate it when we go traveling, and that's not really to use it as a phone so much as it is to have access to the internet so that we can look up things on maps and we can find out information about places that we are going and stuff like that. I don't know firsthand about getting your US cell phone to work in Mexico, but I know that it can be done because I've met people in Mexico who are using their phone that way. And just the little bit of research that I did on it, there is so much information out there for you to help with this. The best thing to do is probably just to call your service provider that you have and find out from them what the procedure is for you to be able to take and use your phone in Mexico. They almost all have some sort of plan to facilitate that. And then the third option really is that you buy a phone that is unlocked, which is going to cost you more money than if you buy a phone through some provider with their plan. In that case, when you go to a new country, there are ways to buy a SIM card for your unlocked phone, and then you'll be able to use it there. You will, of course, be getting this totally new phone number for that country associated with that SIM card. And there may be things about like what I talked about before with this phone, where people from the US or other countries will incur costs if they call you. But you may be able to call whoever without it costing you extra. So that's it. That's how we do it, and that is what I know about these other methods, which it's kind of limited. but it's super easy to just to find this stuff out on the internet. There are so many people who have spoken about this, who have made videos about it. There are articles that you can read. Like I said, the quickest way to find out if your particular cell phone that you have right now in the United States is going to be able to be of use to you in Mexico is to call your provider and explain to them what you're going to do. I'm traveling to Mexico. I want to be able to use my phone there, and then take it from there. But this is so much easier, and because like the price of cell phone service down here is incredibly less than what we are used to paying in the United States. I mean, it's totally worth it to us to just have the Mexican cell phone for Mexico use. And we use it in the United States, you know, when we get back, but generally we let it lapse when we get back there because of the fact that, like I said, how we use cell phones, Dave and I just don't, we don't include that, you know, in our lives. It's something that we found that we could eliminate. We don't have to have it. We don't need it. And yeah, that's it. So I hope that this has been somewhat helpful. If you have any questions about it, you can leave them down in the comments below, and I'll do my best to try to answer them or point you in the right direction if I think I know where that is, in how you can figure out things, you know, for yourself. Cell phones are ubiquitous here, and you will have no problem finding a store and buying a phone of your own if that's what you want to do.